What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, and here I am to talk about Pokemon again. Now, my thing is, I want to talk about the 3 story paths, and I will say, I wanted to wait, so at this point, you should have finished the story. I'm not gonna say that you should not take your time, but I want to talk about like those as a whole. There might be like minor spoilers and even major spoilers at the end. I'll kind of allude to that when that comes. But I really just want to talk about the story, and I talked about the gameplay and the issues with the game, so I won't really be mentioning a lot of those here. You may hear it in passing because, it's kind of important to the story experience. But if you don't want to hear any spoilers, just go ahead and click off the video, which you probably have already, to be honest. Alright, so now that you cleared out the video, and we got to talk about this 3 story paths. Now, first thing I'm gonna ask you guys, are you enjoying Pokemon? If you're not enjoying it, I can understand why, but I actually am enjoying it. Like I said in the other video, I had it early for everybody else. So I played the Scarlet version there, and I played the Violet version when I bought it on launch day. So I'm really invested in this little Pokemon world. I think I'm gonna try to get like a Pokemon League started or whatever, or because we had one before, but that's a whole other thing. Alright, let's talk about the first story path. In my opinion, the one that you have to play first, and that is the Legend storyline. I think the Legend storyline is pretty cool. I'm not gonna say that it's like really extensive or whatever, but it was kind of like, to me, it's the actual extra plot. It's the one that wasn't really, that's not really in any game. It's the one that's kind of extra. Full spoilers right here, because I can't really talk about this game without really talking about spoilers. They could have been like the Pokemon that came out the time machine to me, like the ancient or future Pokemon. They really could have been, because my initial thoughts were, if we're gonna be fighting Titan Pokemon, I didn't think they were just gonna be alpha Pokemon. That's really what they are. They're big giant alpha Pokemon, and it would have been cool if they would have used it. Like if they would have said, okay, this Titan Pokemon is basically what an alpha Pokemon is. It's like the leader of the pack. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Pokemon that's been eating on these herbs that you're trying to get, and they've grown stronger. They should have given the red eyes back, because I really love the red eyes on those alpha Pokemon. They were really cool. It made it look more intimidating. I really like the challenges, man. Like, I think maybe only one of the challenge, only one really took me for a loop, and that was the water one, where you had to get in the water. And I think the reason why they did that one is because you specifically have to get a specific one in order to access the water one, which I think you could maybe do if you get the glide herb, but you have to get the herb to walk on water in order to get there. So I think that's why they made that one like the toughest. But yeah, that one to me was like extremely hard. I must have been under leveled or something, but I defeated the big giant fish, but then lost to like the little fish over and over again. Like, he was wiping my Pokemon. It took forever to try to like get a Pokemon to survive or hit or something, because those Pokemon don't miss. So I just keep using revives, using potions to try to heal myself and stuff. When I played in the other game, I was so over leveled that I just kind of steamrolled it, and it was still hard, but he still hit hard, but I steamrolled it, so it wasn't an issue. So that's my thing about the Legends. I really love how your actual, I don't want to say bike, because it is a Pokemon, your bike Pokemon or whatever, your legendary, gets upgraded by the herbs. If you find more herbs, it heals the legendary Pokemon so that it can get its capacity for different modes of transportation back. You can get one that makes you jump higher. You can get one that makes you glide. To me, the most important one, the one that lets you climb vertical surfaces, because that one allows you to basically take a straight line through the map, which makes getting to everything quicker. You got the one that lets you boost, like turbo boost or whatever. So all of that together makes the map really easy to traverse. So that wasn't really a problem to me. I was cool doing the storylines of the Titans, and I really like how it wasn't just if you defeat this first Titan you get this first boost ability. Because the one I did, I defeated the Titan that gives you boost, and I thought it was gonna be the same. I thought you was gonna just get boost off the first Titan, but no, every Titan has their specific herb that gives you their specific ability. So when I was able to start the game the second time, I was able to basically go and get the one that allows you to either climb. I don't think I got the climb one. I got the one that allows you like to glide and stuff, I think, and that was a really good one, especially to start off with. Alright, so enough talking about the Legend storyline. I thought it was cool. I thought his name Arvin was an okay character. I like what it led into, obviously, but Now, my whole thing is when you beat the Legend storyline, which is to me is the first one you will beat canonically because that's the one that helps you get around easier. He basically tells you that storyline leads into the Legend storyline leads into the fourth and invisible storyline, which is the Area Zero, which is kind of something we'll always end up going into because in the beginning of the game they mention Area Zero and it's prohibited, but you know that eventually you're gonna get into there, and there's gonna be some legendary stuff and some some deep down stuff. Now I haven't went back in there since I beat the game, and we're not gonna talk about that crater right now. We're not gonna talk about Area Zero right now, but I really wasn't that fond of Area Zero, if I'm being honest. But let's move on to the gym battles, because the reason I brought that up is because once you beat the Legend storyline, he tells you that you have to basically beat the other two storylines in order to get into Area Zero. So with that being said, here's my issue when it comes to that, because it's an open world game, but it's still linear, because once you beat the Legend storyline, you can't even unlock Area Zero. Now, I know that there's places in open world games where you have to beat certain things to unlock, but I would really have loved it if they gave me a game where they just let me explore. Like, if I can go into Area Zero and the Pokemon all be like 80 or something, I can still go from the beginning. Like, maybe that's cool. I like how you can traverse and stuff, and that may be how, but you can't even just like sail into Area Zero. Because the whole thing is that when you get there, you have to drop down into your Pokemon. You have to drop down and use a Pokemon to glide down there. But you can do that from the outside. But they won't let you do that, which is kind of annoying. You can't get into Area Zero without going through the story. And I feel like that kind of cuts open world exploration to me. I feel like you should be able to go anywhere. I should be able to go in there, see what kind of cool Pokemon they got or whatever, and not be able to catch anything and just be in danger. But it is what it is. I really didn't never get that sense of danger. I've played open world games where I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to be in this area. This area is too high for me. I gotta go. But moving from that, since you do have to collect the other two storylines because you need trainers from both storylines to be your guides in Area Zero, we'll move on to the gym battles. The gym battles to me, I want to say the funnest aspect. Kind of. I mean, it's your basic old gym battles, play the gym battles. You have to do the little gym test. I would probably say it's the funnest because I loved getting the herbs for the Titan Pokemon. I really didn't care for like fighting them. I didn't care. I mean, I just kind of just threw some attacks at them. It wasn't really intensive. That last one that really gave me trouble was very, very fun though. But other than that, I just kind of watched through them. So both times. So it's like, the gym battles to me were fun. I really had a lot of issues with some of the gyms, not even because I don't prepare for a gym. I just try to muscle it out. So one of those gyms, I think it's the Medi gym, the normal gym. He kept using the drill move that just literally just destroyed me. To remind me of like back in the old Pokemon games that they would use like Earthquake or something, and it would just basically keep wiping your team. As soon as your team comes in, it's like Earthquake, and you had to go back and find a way to get a Pokemon with Levitate or something like that so they wouldn't keep killing you. I relish the idea of having a really, really hard Pokemon game. I do. I really want a hard Pokemon game. But there's not really much to say about like the gym battles. They're basic things though. I like that you had to kind of do a gym battle test before you played every gym battle. I mean, yes, it got kind of annoying my second playthrough, but my first playthrough was fun. It made the thing kind of interesting, kind of fun. Instead of just going there and was like, hey, I'm gonna battle you right now. It's like, you gotta do some stuff first. It was like this in the old games. You would have, things like the gym leader would be gone, or, saying you had to kind of do it in that route. Well, all in all, it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, not at all. But, since it is just, gym tests and gym battles, we'll move on to the last storyline. And the last storyline probably had more weight behind it, but I still didn't like it. I honestly hated this one. I feel like this was so much of a chore. There was the star battles. You had to do 5 of them. So I was cool that you had to do like the least. Well, Legends was technically 5 too, but this one to me was like the worst one. It wasn't it. I don't know. I like the designs, I guess, of the characters, and I like the whole stat. I don't know why that storyline. For me, I think it was because it was a lot of text. It was a lot of text. With the gym battles, it's like, okay, here, come do your gym test. That's it. With the Titans, it was like, hey, the Titans nearby, go defeat the Titan. You defeat the Titan, he moves to a very close second location. You go over there and you defeat the Titan, and then, you get the herb. And then you got like cutscenes afterward. With this one, it just felt like it felt like it was like the most boring, longest talking one ever. You had to go up when you got near to say, okay, team fire base is near. Then you had the director come to you. He talks to you about the Team Star students, and then you got the person on the phone talking to you about, oh, you're joining my call. It's like this is lots of dialogue, lots of text and stuff. Instead of just going up there and defeating the base, and mind you, in this one, it's also the same way. You can't fly into the base, because I've had times where I've actually tried to like glide over the base by accident, and they've resetted me or re-put me back, and that really irritated me a lot. They irritated me a lot. I really hated that. You have to actually go through the front door, which is another thing. It's kind of like, okay, I feel like open world game, just fly in there, man, battle people, get out. But man, I hated that storyline. It just felt like, okay, you had to go do this, you had to go talk to the director who was disguised as a student, which is like, it's cool, it's wacky or whatever, but like after the fourth, starting on the third, fourth, fifth time of doing it, it's like, oh my god, I just want the storyline to be over. I just want it to be over. I should have did it in a manner where I did like a legend, a gym battle, and then a Team Star thing. That would have kind of lessened it for me. But going back and keep doing continuous Team Star stuff really irritated me. Now, in the older games, this format was remedied by Team Star and the legendary Pokemon. Like, Team Star would have been the one chasing the legendary Pokemon, and that would have been like the storyline in the older games. I would have liked that a lot more. And this one is just like, they were all getting bullied, so it basically made it so that they kind of glowed up and got stronger or whatever, so they stopped getting bullied and stuff, and they all are basically people that won't come back to school or whatever. Now they'll become the delinquents, and it's so obvious, like the twist at the end, which, I mean, this is Pokemon, man. I'm not expecting no, Persona level dialogue or story. It's just that, the twist is that the person sending you on the mission was the one that founded them, and surprise, it's the girl that, keeps giving you supplies after every, the girl that you saved in the beginning of the game, which is the main reason why she would know your face and you're a new student, and it's like, I don't mean to hate on like the story, and it could be surprising for some people, but obviously if you played it, you already knew that the girl was the one that was talking to you, and she was the one that was the boss of Team Star. And it's like, oh, you can obviously tell that they're throwing hints and stuff in it. It's just like Team Star as a whole, some of the characters are cool. Like some of the outfits and designs are cool of the characters and stuff. And I thought they could have been used in a really interesting way. But instead of being like a villain organization and being an enemy in the game, because there really was no main enemy. I guess there was. I'll get to that in a minute. This video's running long, and I don't want to kind of end it, right here. But they were just students who wouldn't come back to school, and you had to kind of beat them until they came back to school. I didn't like how you had to go and do the little auto battle thing. The auto battle was a part of the Team Star hideout. You had to keep throwing your Pokemon out because, I don't know, it just felt kind of clicky to me. But your last boss battle was against the Team Star boss. But the car thing was cool though. But it's like, yeah, they're students, so yeah, it is what it is. They're students. They wouldn't come back unless they were beaten, so you had to beat them. They made like a big reveal at the end, only to find out that it was who you already thought it was, and she was not very secretive. So all in all, not a big surprise. Very common, and storyline to me wasn't that great. So we'll move on from there. Let's go to Area Zero. The storyline for Area Zero really was not good to me. The only thing I did like is that they made kind of an adult decision. Because in the storyline, you basically, once you get all three people together, you go down to Area Zero, and then, you're facing, like, it's like sort of mystical. They actually do a good job of kind of like making it, oh, this looks kind of crazy, And then you're seeing like the regular Pokemon. My whole thought is that they were going to have a section of Pokemon that were, Area Zero is going to be Pokemon that's like, maybe you'll find like a lot of legendaries down there, or maybe, because we'll get on that in another video, but I did not like the legendaries. But that's, that's a whole other thing. But I thought that, maybe you'll find like some legendaries down there. But, basically you just have to slow walk to a lot of these research stations and kind of try to piece together the story. I feel like they really banked on the story being really intriguing and not the Pokemon down there, because Pokemon was just regular Pokemon down there. And then, you know, you see like that's a different looking type of Pokemon. That Pokemon looks weird. You know, I thought that Pokemon was a Jigglypuff, but it's not. It's an Igglybuff. Like, okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. So, you know, you go down there and you find it, eventually start seeing these, because I played Scarlet first, I'm gonna go with Scarlet. You see these quote unquote ancient Pokemon. Then you kinda get it, you know, they tell you, oh, this ancient Pokemon's from a time machine. I actually love this part. When they said the Pokemon's from a time machine, it kinda blew my mind because it makes sense. Like, it makes so much sense when you look at the covers of the two Pokemon games. And it, like, when you add it in parallel, Scarlet is the past, Violet is the future. That makes so much sense in the thing that, okay, why does this one look so much high-tech and cooler than this other one? Because this other one is basically an ancient version or whatever. It's like the one that's, you know, probably in like the dinosaur lands or whatever. And the other one is like in a new age technological future, like heavy future of Pokemon. You know, and that makes it really interesting. So it's like, okay, you'll see all your version exclusives here because they're coming from the time machine. And depending on what professor you have, because I realized in the other game you have the guy professor or whatever. I'm assuming it's his dad and not his mom. And then if you play Scarlet, it's his mom and not his dad. But basically, yeah, I haven't beaten the Violet story mode yet, so I don't really know. But you go down there and then you figure out, which is to me the best part of the entire game in terms of story wise, that the professor, they kind of hint at it though. You know how the guy's like, my mother never read me letters. She stopped writing me letters like 6 months ago or whatever. And then you get to like the very end of like the part, and then you find out that the actual person you've been talking to is an AI. Like they're not even human, and the professor had died due to a Pokemon attack. She got injured, gravely injured in a Pokemon attack, so she died. So you're basically looking at the will of that professor, and it actually shows like that the kid kind of knows, like, you know, he knows that his mother isn't alive no more. She used to send him letters, she cared about him or whatever. She just got too wrapped up in her work and she accidentally died, and that was actually sad to me. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I see a lot of sad anime or whatever, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like that was the saddest thing ever, but that hit me. That was actually some stuff I really wanted for Pokemon. Like, she died and that was sad. Like, the AI was trying to carry out her will and the AI had a mind of its own. I feel like that storyline should have been expanded to me. I feel like in a linear game, that storyline would have been expanded. That would have been a cool storyline to go with. And, you know, to show that she obviously had to go to the future, because I think that in the game they said they don't have AI tech like this in the present or whatever or something like that. So she had to go to the future and get like an AI from there. You know, that was cool though. I like that whole little storyline. But this video is getting long, so I mean, obviously you go in there and you battle her. She's the final enemy. I'm gonna be honest. I was not a fan that you had to fight the same legendary Pokemon that you have been riding around with this whole entire time. If I'm being truthfully honest, I really wish you would have had like a regular bike Pokemon or something like that instead of having the legendary. Having the legendary with you from the jump is cool, but at the same time, is they really legendaries? Because once you find out the truth, they're basically just an ancient version of the Salazar. And then the other one is the future version of this Salazar. No, I'm saying it wrong, but the bicycle Pokemon, the bike Pokemon. So it's like, either way, they're not really technically legendaries. The legendaries in this game suck. Like, the ruinous Pokemon, I don't like the look of them. They look like just basic pseudo legendaries you'll find or whatever. They look kind of ancient, but they look like really basic Pokemon. Like, they look like trash. One of them is literally like trash. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. This video got way too long. I wanted to kind of cut it here. I want to talk about like my opinion on a linear Pokemon game versus a open world Pokemon game in another video. So stay tuned on that. With that being said, guys, I'll see you.